Welcome to Reinventing Broadcast, where AI meets content. Hosted by Ben Anker. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Reinventing Broadcast, where AI meets content and strategy. I'm Ben Anker, your host. In this episode, we're diving into Module 6 of the Berkeley ExecEd AI strategy course, a return to familiar territory for me, business applications and strategic thinking.
And I'm HAIley, your AI co-host. Module 6 is all about how companies can design and execute successful AI strategies. Sounds like you hit your stride again with this one?
Definitely. After some intense weeks on reinforcement learning and robotics, getting back into the business and application side was a relief. It was a shorter module, just one assignment, but it packed a lot of value. Plus, I've been connecting with more course mates. We've even been talking about potential business collaborations after the program ends.
That's exciting. Did you get a chance to brainstorm project ideas?
We did. During one of the live webinars, we ran out of time discussing the capstone. So, a few of us hosted our own Zoom. There were 6 of us on the call. We started asking whether it's even feasible to collaborate on the final project. Honestly, the idea has legs. We might even turn it into a business venture post-course, so we're opening up another cohort-wide call next Monday to explore that.
Love that community energy. And the assignment this week?
So Module 6 was actually a bit of a shift back into my comfort zone, AI strategy. After tackling robotics and reinforcement learning in the previous module, it felt like a welcome return to the business side of things.
Nice. So what did the module focus on specifically?
It was all about how to align AI solutions with business goals, not just throwing AI at a problem because it's trendy, but asking, what's the value we're trying to create? Is this technically feasible? And how will it scale over time?
I imagine that's where a lot of businesses struggle, identifying where AI can drive actual ROI.
Exactly. One key takeaway was using frameworks to assess strategy. We looked at common pitfalls, like misaligned incentives, overestimating data quality, or underestimating ethical risks. Then we were introduced to the 4 C's framework: create, compete, concentrate, and capture, which I used in my assignment about the startup, Trint.
Ah, yes, we'll dive into that case study a bit later. But did the course also explore how to scale AI?
Yes. A big theme was scalability. It's one thing to launch a pilot, but how do you scale it responsibly? They talked about cloud-native platforms, modular AI components, human-in-the-loop systems, and also how to anticipate challenges like bias, drift, or privacy breaches.
Were there real-world examples as well?
Tons. Case studies spanned industries, from logistics and healthcare to media and finance. It was useful seeing how strategy shifts, depending on the data maturity and risk tolerance of each sector.
And how did the class respond?
We had great discussions. In fact, we ran out of time in the official session and spun up our own Zoom call to talk capstone ideas. That led to exploring whether any of us might collaborate on a final project, maybe even spin it out into a venture.
So, a week about AI strategy turned into startup strategy too?
Pretty much. Which is fitting, because AI strategy is business strategy now. And it's great to be applying what I'm learning in real time, both here on the podcast and possibly in a live venture soon. We said we would wait to see what modules 6 and 7 entails before we could possibly think of endgame projects or business ideas. So Module 6 asked us to take a framework and evaluate how a company implemented AI and whether it created long-term value. I chose a UK-based startup called Trint, especially as someone from the broadcast world.
Let's dive into that. What does Trent do?
Given my broadcast background, I focused on this UK-based startup. They're doing some fascinating work in AI-driven transcription and content management. Essentially, they turn audio and video into editable, searchable text in near real time. And they're cloud native, which is a big deal for broadcasters and production houses still tied to legacy systems. It's become a go-to for broadcasters, newsrooms, and production houses dealing with mountains of footage that needs captioning, archiving, or logging. I wanted to share a deeper look at the assignment I submitted for Module 6. We were asked to evaluate a real-world AI strategy through the lens of the 4 C's framework: create, compete, concentrate, and capture.
Trint, interesting. So what sets them apart in strategy terms?
Let's go through the 4 C's. Create. Trint was one of the first to bring together generative speech models with a real-time collaborative UI. This gave broadcasters a transcribe-as-you-shoot workflow that simply didn't exist before. It wasn't just about faster captions, it was a whole new way of working. Compete. In traditional broadcasts, captioning always had a turnaround time, sometimes hours, sometimes days. Trint disrupted that by eliminating human bottlenecks and expensive on-prem servers. As a cloud-native platform, it scaled easily and offered speed and affordability. Concentrate. Their model stays lean. They outsource storage and cloud infrastructure to other providers and only focus on what they do best: speech processing and UI. It's a serverless architecture that ramps up GPU compute during big events and pulls back during off-peak times. Efficient and cost-effective. Capture. Their pricing is clever too. It flexes with usage. Light users can pay as they go, heavier users subscribe monthly, and enterprise clients get unlimited access under SLAs. This makes the revenue stream more predictable and allows them to price based on urgency and volume.
Sounds like they've thought through scalability, pricing, and data ethics.
Yes, they've already secured pilots with Sky News and Reuters, which helped land them $50 million in funding and a $1.5 billion valuation. Their models, based on things like deep speech, are mature and effective, and they've added custom lexicons for industry-specific nuance. Importantly, humans still play a role. Trint's AI handles the grunt work of transcription, but human editors come in to refine nuance and context. So it augments, not replaces. That's key.
And what about privacy or ethical concerns? Any red flags?
Mainly around ethics. Things like data retention and GDPR compliance. But Trint addresses this with encryption, audit logs, and a data policy that meets EU standards. They've built trust into the product. So my key takeaway: AI strategy should focus on high-volume, repeatable production tasks like tagging, transcription, clip generation. Wrap it in a scalable cloud stack, ensure human oversight, and make it secure from day one.
And you said they built this on proven speech-to-text models?
Exactly. But what makes them stand out is the experience they've designed around that model. Their intuitive web editor, metadata tagging, and API integrations create a self-service niche. They don't try to do it all. Instead, they've concentrated just on the processing layer.
So what's their competitive edge?
It's real-time delivery and cloud-native scalability. Traditional services had turnaround times, sometimes same day, often weeks. Trint made it possible to transcribe as you shoot, especially during live events. That's a huge shift.
Wow. Any lessons here for other media businesses?
Yes. Trint demonstrates that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just identify a manual bottleneck, embed a mature model, wrap it in a smart UI, and design it to scale. But they also kept a human in the loop. Editors still review for nuance and context. This builds trust and avoids over-automation risks.
Definitely a strong AI strategy and very applicable to broadcasting.
Agreed. It got me thinking about how to design something similar for my own capstone project. Maybe auto-tagging or AI clip generation for archives. I've even been chatting with industry colleagues on WhatsApp for feedback.
It sounds like the momentum is building. How much of the program is left?
Just 2 modules and the capstone. I've now earned 54% of the total grade, with recent passes on the robotics assignments. The goal is 80% to pass, and I'm on track.
That's awesome. So what's next?
Module 7 unlocks soon, and on Monday, we're hosting that wider cohort call to discuss project ideas and possible business applications. I've also been scheduling some in-person catch-ups with classmates in London and have AI and broadcast meetups lined up for early June.
Sounds like the real-world application of this course is kicking in.
Absolutely, and I'm enjoying sharing the journey here on the podcast too.
Don't forget, you can follow all episodes of Reinventing Broadcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Reinventing Broadcast and look out for the mic icon.
Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in episode 11.
Thanks for listening to Reinventing Broadcast. Subscribe for more on AI content and the future of media. And visit ancast.tv for more info on Ben himself, the resources, other content, and news.